Do not quit your job. Life is no joke, and running a business is not for everyone. It's not easy. So hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. The reason for today's video is because I do a lot of content around quitting your job, how to start a business, and living a life of freedom and designing a life that you really want, right? And I'm an advocate for that, and that's what I believe in, and that's what I've done myself. That doesn't mean it's right for everyone. So this video, I kind of want to throw a different spin on it, that it just might not be for you, because entrepreneurship and running a business is really hard. And I think for many people, the idea of escaping your job, it's amazing, right? Living life on your terms and not having to answer to a boss and deal with the workplace issues and politics and toxic behavior. You know, when we look at statistics, and it's 77% of working adults globally that do not like their job, most people don't want to work for someone else. You know, people are waking up to the fact that it's not a fair exchange of time, working 5 days typically to only have 2 days off, and being told what to do and have to ask ask permission for a day off. But the reality is, not everyone has the capabilities. So I want to start with the truth of what actually entrepreneurship really is and how hard it is. You have to typically work a job until a business replaces your salaried income. And that's really tough, because that requires you to put in long hours. And they're not just long hours, they're stressful hours. There's high amounts of pressure. You might have a family, you know, you might have dependents, and they rely on you. So you have to go to your job, you have to remain quiet, because you can't tell people at your work you're building a business, because then you could jeopardize losing your job. So you have to work before you go to work. You have to work on your business when you get home. You do have to sacrifice the weekends. You know, if you don't have parents that are rich and have been in business before, like myself, I've never had anyone in business in my life before. You don't get access to contacts. You don't have a network. You start from scratch. You have to build your social media accounts. You have to learn how to market. You wear all the hats. You have to sacrifice not going on holiday because you need to have money in the bank. And that's really tough. And these are things that most people don't think of. What social media has painted the picture of, which is why I'm doing this video, is that it's easy to make £10,000 a month. It's, you know, a couple of weeks you'll be earning £10,000 a month. It's not. It doesn't work like that. Like, success in business, and to then, you know, be able to quit your job and then survive in the business that you've built, you know, for years, that takes time. And it you know, success isn't overnight. And this is where there's this blurred vision because of social media, that it's so quick and it can happen and you can leave your job and there's no repercussions and there's no risk. There is. I also want to say at this point though, I've recently watched some videos on YouTube of some guys and girls doing videos about don't quit your job, you know, stay in a job because business is really risky. It's not all it's cracked up to be, and actually be grateful for having a job. And I don't agree. No, I would say that risk, yes, is very real, and the pressures and stresses of business are, you know, they are very much at the forefront, and you have to deal with that, and that's a part and parcel, you know, of business. But I wouldn't let other people's bad experiences or fear sort of put you off eventually quitting your job, because if I break this down simplistically, you know, the average salary in America and the UK is between £1,600 to £2,000 or dollars a month. That is very achievable. Remember, you're not trying to make £10,000 a month in your first like little side business. You're just trying to replace your income. And I watched a video earlier today whilst I was at the gym about a guy saying, don't quit your job, life is no joke. And whilst I agree with a lot of the stuff that he was saying, that you shouldn't just quit your job and hope that a business works out, because for the record, you never actually start a business without testing it. Like, you need to know that the thing that you're trying to do, people actually want the service or product. So that's number one. But it sounds like he's had a very, very bad experience, because he's still living paycheck to paycheck, and he's having to get job and then another job, and he can't stick one job out, but he really wishes that his YouTube and his business worked out. And it sounds like he's not been very good with money. So here's the secret sauce for you being able to quit your job and survive in business, you know, to live life on your terms. You have to live frugally. I have been very good at, even when I was working, never spending money on materialistic things. I'm wearing Primark joggers right now. Yes, I'm driving a nice car, which is owned outright, you know, this is bought in cash. But once upon a time, my partner and I, we just drove a rubbish car. You know, we didn't have a lot of money, but we never increased our expenditure. We lived within our means. And the money that I was making in my salary, I was also saving and investing. I was building my emergency fund as much as I could every week with my weekly paycheck. And we didn't really go out. We didn't go on holidays because we couldn't afford to. So we were planning and mitigating the risk for when I was ready to go full-time into my first business, which was in finance, and to make sure that the emergency fund was there, the maintenance fund was there, the floating fund. And something really cool, if you go to the description of this video, you can get a free downloadable pack of how to set up your banking structure, which will really help you out, by the way. I've got 35 bank accounts now, and I was featured in some UK mainstream articles about my banking structure. You should go check that out. And I managed money well. The people that typically do these videos on YouTube about, oh, you know, don't quit your job, stay in the job and be grateful for it, it's normally because they've had bad money habits. And the more money they've earned in their salary, typically they've started living their life to that salary. Whereas what I've been able to do, which allowed me to quit my job and survive. Yo, dude, I'm just doing a YouTube video. I'll call you back, dude.
All right, mate.
I'll call you back. All right, bye. We'll keep that in there, Joe, by the way, my editor I'm talking to. It's my business partner. We normally have a chat at this time in the morning. I'm on my way to my mentor's house where we're having a mastermind today. I'll talk about that at the end. But that's where I've really thrived, is that when my income has gone up, I've never spent more money. So even today, I don't buy materialistic things. The cash that I earn within my businesses is all reinvested. We keep our bills really minimal. You know, yes, we're in a position now where we can go on nicer holidays, but this is 10 years of living frugally. And there's a great book written by a friend of mine, which is called Live on Less, Invest the Rest. And maybe Joe can just pop that up on the screen. You should go check that out. And that's by Andrew Craig, who's a personal friend of mine. You know, he's a very intelligent man, and he'll teach you how to understand finances and money management and investing the correct way in layman's terms. The idea of quitting your job is a lot sexier than the reality of it. You have to know when to quit, make sure that you have enough clientele that it's replacing your income. You need to get rid of all unnecessary direct debits that you don't need. You need to get your if you're in a relationship, you need to get your partner on board as well. Like, when you start a business, it's not just you going into it. Like, if you have a husband or a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend, they are essentially unwillingly committing to business as well. Like, it's not a one-person job. You know, when I first went into business years ago, you know, my partner and I, you know, we had a long discussion, and she just said, look, I back you, but you need to make it work. And, you know, I went all in. And the other thing, and the advice that I want to say to you, is that not everyone is cut out for this, because the mindset behind being a successful entrepreneur is 85% of all of this. Anyone could start a business, you know, come up with an idea, copy a service or a product. You know, you don't have to be original. There are blueprints out there to build a business, but for you to create your own service or product, that's fine, but running the business is the hard part. You're being the CEO, being the marketer, being the editor, being the salesperson, being the customer service, sales rep, whatever, the cleaner, everything. You have to be everything. And the blurred lines again is that everything's quick. It's not. Like, you have to front load everything. To run a successful business now and to actually be able to quit your job is so much more than just getting your money right, is so much more than just wanting it. You have to fear a consequence so badly that you end up being a success. Like, you have to fear something and have a consequence that it drives you to be successful. I do a lot of one-to-one consultations and like mentoring now, and the more I've gone into education, and I talk to a lot of people who they tell me, Aaron, I want to get out of my job, I hate it, I'm fed up of working with someone, working for someone else, and I just know they haven't got it in them. Sorry about the rain, by the way, it's quite loud, but hopefully you can hear me okay. And I just know they haven't got it in them. I can just hear it in their voice, because you need to be on personal brand, you need to be on the camera all the time. To run a business, it's all about the customer and the viewer, adding value to them, serving them for 80, 90% for free, every day, consistently, building a personal brand, sharing your message, giving value every single day, all on top of working a full-time job, whilst making all these sacrifices and not going out and having to say no to people. This is the reality, and this is why no, not everyone should quit their job, because it requires you to be another beast. Honestly, you have to be on another level. And unfortunately, social media does make it seem like it's easier than what it actually is. It's possible. I am no genius. I promise you, I'm no genius. I'm not academic. I didn't do well in school. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to university. But I have got key traits of an entrepreneur, and I always have. Self-belief. Regardless of what anyone has ever told me, it's not going to work out, Aaron. What's your plan B? You're going to end up back in a job. I wouldn't bother, mate. It's too risky. I've always believed, Aaron, it's gonna work out. If you're smart with money, if you get around the right people, if you constantly learn, if you don't bury your head in the sand when the world's changing and you just innovate, adapt, evolve, you will be all right. And I've always backed myself. So I don't want you to be confused about that this is an easy task. It's not. Is it doable? Yeah, all of you could do it. You could, keyword could. But have you really got what it takes? Have you got the mindset needed? And I would say little things like working out and being in physical shape, that really helps, because that builds resilience, and it keeps you in check, it keeps you in a routine, it makes you disciplined. It gives you the fundamentals. Everything for me personally is downstream from fitness. I really believe that. But it is possible to quit your job, because again, you're not trying to solve a problem with a business for 8 billion people. In the beginning, building an online business, for example, you're trying to solve a problem for your customer, your avatar that you've created. And in the beginning, that's only 100 to 300 people. You want to target those customers. And again, we're not trying to replace £5,000-10,000. We're trying to replace your salary. Because when you replace your salary with a basic business model, which has autonomy, you can systemize it, you can learn to make things more passive, which means, you create the business model, it becomes evergreen, you use free social media to market that business so you don't have to pay for adverts. And, social media, you start for free as well, right? We're in a blessed world. But again, you need to know exactly what you want. You need to know the number that you need to make to replace your salary so that you and your family can still eat and pay your mortgage or pay your rent. You need to know these numbers. And I'll give you an example. I did a live stream the other day on my TikTok, and I said to everyone, there was about 80, 90 people on the live stream, and I said, right, everyone, who wants to be an entrepreneur? You know, and everyone was, yeah, I want to run my own business, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we want to do that. And I said, right, how much money would make you happy every month? And I said, just put it in the chat. And people were putting 5, 10, 15K a month, £10,000. You know, we even had 20, £30,000 a month. And people have no idea about their numbers. They haven't got a Scooby-Doo on the number that they need. Because if you're earning, let's say £2,000 a month, for you to live a comfortable life running your own little business from home, and you already earn £2,000 in a salaried job where you're giving away 180 hours a month, well, for you to have a good life, I'm probably correct in saying you only really need £3,100, because that gives you an extra £1,100 a month. So there you go, you've already got extra money coming in, which you didn't have, and you're getting 180 hours back a month to live and work from home or work from a nice cafe. That's the target, and that is doable. Please don't let some of these videos scare you off the idea of eventually quitting your job, because remember, there's so much conflicting information online. Get to know what you want and what you personally need and what you need to achieve. But remember, these people that tell you don't quit your job, stay in a job, be happy that you've got security and an employer's paying you a wage. No, don't be happy with that, because there's far more people out there in the world who are depressed and unhappy in a job because they gave up freedom to take some risk. Because again, the biggest risk is taking no risk. But you mitigate risk, you plan, you make sure you've got a business model that actually the market wants. You've done your research, you're willing to learn, you're willing to put the time in, you're willing to make the sacrifices. And I will say, as someone who has lived and breathed every single thing I am talking to you about, consider this: 12 to 3 years minimum until you are able to leave a job to run a business. Minimum 3 years is the journey. You know, that really is kind of the benchmark which you want to set yourself. In 3 years, I could leave my job. Now, I personally help people within my breakout program to escape their job between 12 and 36 months. But that's very different. That's working with me directly, and I've had many successes. I've helped over 40 people legitimately leave their full-time jobs to go run a business. And you know, and some of them earn anywhere between $2,000 to some of my highest earners are sort of about £7,000 a month. I do have one lady who's above £10,000, but that has taken time, commitment, you know, huge amounts of sacrifices. My gosh, but it is possible. I hope this video has helped. Honestly, it is possible. Be careful who you listen to, because when you listen to people and they put you off doing things, remember it's probably because they've had failures which has scared them, and they've gone into defense. They've gone into flight mode rather than fight, and they're now telling everyone, oh my God, you know, it didn't work out for me, so everyone be careful. You don't want to do it because I tried it and it didn't work. Well, as much as I agree, yes, be cautious, make plans, and you know, don't jump in with both feet without having a parachute on or having a life jacket on, at least. I will also say it's totally possible to replace a job if you go all in. You cannot be half-hearted about any of this. You have to go all in. You have to give it your everything, and you have to say to your partner and your family, look, I'm gonna decline outside noise. I'm not gonna accept social gatherings. I'm not going to all these weddings we keep getting invited to, going out at the weekend. For the next couple of years, we're not gonna go on holiday. We're gonna get rid of the finance car. We're gonna reduce our expenditure. We're gonna save as much as we can into a business fund and an emergency fund. I'm gonna carry on working my full-time job. And let me just paint you, lastly, before we end this, the real image of entrepreneurship. It's not Dubai, it's not Lamborghinis, it's not Rolexes. It's tiring, it never ends. The pressure doesn't stop. You learn to deal with the pressure, but it will either crush you or form a diamond. It's stressful, but just like the gym, when you lift heavier weights, your body adapts and gets stronger due to good stress. It's lonely. It takes time. You have to be patient. You have to trust the process. Always educating, doubting yourself, imposter syndrome, not knowing if you should give up. You cannot have a plan B. You don't know if it's going to work out. There's no guarantees. You do worry about money. That's the reality of entrepreneurship. Now, if that still sounds exciting to you and you're still like, I'm ready, like I am all over that, sign me up, then you're as mad as I am, and you're probably gonna do all right. But if that has put you off and you're thinking that's not what I thought it was, and think about all the social media platforms you have to post on daily, you have to be on camera, you have to generate attention, you have to learn how to sell, you have to learn how to lead generate, you have to learn how to build a database, you have to create YouTube, you have to create Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, you have to build a community. All of this is required for any type of business model in today's day and age. You cannot escape it. Oh, wish they'd sort out the potholes in the UK, awful. I'm actually on my way to my mentor's house, Jason Greystone, such a good friend of mine, but he's a business genius. And even now, I'm not getting paid, but I've generated income as I live my everyday, but this is something that's called front end loading, right? I'm going to meet my mentor. This is all self-investment that I'm making to make sure that I'm evolving. And today we're going to be learning about AI and systemizing my back-end sort of workings within my business. It never ends. It never ends, people. I hope this has painted the reality. Life's tough. Business is no joke. It's not for the faint-hearted. But if you have got to the end of this video and you still want to get out that job, I really hope you do, by the way, because there are a lot of perks to business. There's a lot of freedom. No one's over your shoulder telling you what to do. You live life on your terms, and you can go on holiday without having to ask bloody permission. There we go, another driving video. Until next time, my good people, I wish you all the best. Go get your freebies in the description. If you do like this type of content, please do like and subscribe. If you want to, of course. Leave me a comment on your biggest takeaways. I love to know what people take away from my videos. And at the end of this video, again, I'll go one step further. I'll include my 90-minute full course tutorial on how to quit your job and build an online business. It's totally for free and it's 90 minutes long and it's a full guide. It will teach you everything about getting out your job. I promise you, it's one of the best videos on YouTube. You won't ever need me and you won't ever need anyone else again. Until next time, my good people, I'll catch you all soon. Peace out.